We are going to talk about variables and data types in PHP. If you have ever written any code before, you know that variables are building blocks of programming. They allow us to store, use, and manipulate data in our programs. So let's dive in right now. Okay. So in PHP, a variable is simply a container that stores some kind of information like text, number, or even complex data. The important thing to remember is that all variables in PHP start with a $sign followed by a variable name. Okay, so here's the example. Here's the example I can give you. So here, remember we said that it starts with a $sign, then the name of the variable, then like that. Okay, then it can store a value. Okay, it can store data. Okay, so let us give it a string. Okay, a string. Okay, so which is a and it is going to be enclosed in quotations. Okay, so hello. Okay, like that. So it is a text, and this text, if it is in quotations, it is called a string. Okay, so if we save that, then we have stored our variable, okay, which contains the string. Okay, so we can also have a variable which contains a number like this $sign h. Let's give it age, then let us give it 17. Then let us echo out. This statement helps us to output that information in a variable. Okay, so we can output our name, then we end our statement, then we echo out, then dollar, then age. Okay, then we end our line. So if we save and we refresh our page, here we get $age in. Okay, so unexpected variable name. Okay, so here we forgot to end like this. We have to end, and if we refresh, we get hello 17. Okay, so we get the hello, and then we get the age, which is 17. Okay, so that is it. That is the example. So in this example, we have the name. Okay, the $name, and this one stores the text, and this one the age, which stores a number. Okay, so let us look at the rules of naming variables. When creating variables in PHP, there are few rules you must follow. Okay, and one of them we have seen it. Okay, so all variable names must start with a $sign. Okay, like this one. So they must start with a $sign. Okay, as you have seen. Okay, so the second rule is that they must start with a letter or an underscore, not a number. Okay, so they cannot start with a number. For example, here we can have 5. So if we write 5, if we start a variable name with a 5 after the $sign, we get an error, as you have seen. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, as you can see, we get an error. So it is no longer a variable name. Even VS Code is not recognizing it. Okay, so it must not start with a number. Okay, so you can start it with the underscore like this. So if we press that, okay, if we start with the underscore, it is valid. Okay, so another rule is that variable names can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but not spaces. Okay, so they must not contain spaces. Okay, for example, here we can have the first name like that. Okay, so we cannot put a space. Okay, we cannot put a space in between. Okay, and if we put it there in between these words, these two words, okay, that we concatenated before, we get an error. As you can see, name is no longer recognized as a variable, and so it will also generate an error in the first name. Okay, this one. Okay, which is a variable, valid variable. Okay, it will generate an error. Okay, so another rule is that variable names are case sensitive. For example, okay, this one, the age, this one, it is not equals to this one, $age. Okay, it is not equals to that one. Okay, they are not the same. Okay, so let us look at data types in PHP. You have seen the rules, so let us now look at data types in PHP. So in PHP we have different data types. Okay, and the first one, we have seen it. We have seen this one. Okay, so let us remove this error. So first name, we have it there. So first name, let us give it a name. So I like my name. Okay, let us use that one. Okay, so so with this one, okay, so with this one, with the data type, let us first define a data type. So a data type defines the kind of a value a variable holds. So PHP is a loosely typed language, which means you don't have to declare the data type explicitly. Okay, so PHP figures it out, okay, automatically based on the value that you have provided. Okay, so for example here, this one, okay, the PHP code executor just get to know that this one is a string. Okay, even if you don't have to tell it that this is a string. Okay, even this one, okay, it just gets to know that this is a number. It detects that this is a number. Okay, you don't have to tell it that no, this is not a string, it is a number. Okay, it just detects it. Okay, which means it is a loosely typed language. Okay, so the main data types we have in PHP are strings. Okay, which is which are sequence of characters like the text. Okay, as we have seen here. Okay, sequence of characters. Okay, like text. Okay, so another data type we have is the integer. Okay, so the integer is in form of whole numbers, positive or negative, without decimals. Okay, so like this one. Okay, so we can also have dollar, we can have a dollar sign, balance, then we can have here negative balance. Okay, negative balance. Okay, like that. Okay, so we can have negative whole numbers and even positive. Okay, so we can have this is a whole number. Okay, so let us give it a positive like this. Okay, so we can give it a positive value. Okay, like that. Okay, so and that is an integer. Okay, all those are integers. Okay, so another data type we have is the float, or you can call it the double, which are numbers with decimals. Okay, so for example here we can have a dollar price, then we give it a price like $19.6. Okay, so and this one becomes a float point numbered variable, float point. Okay, this is a float point, and this variable is now containing a float point data type. Okay, float data type. Okay, so another data type we have is the boolean. Okay, the boolean, and this takes two forms, either true or false. Okay, so we can have here is logged in. If it is logged in, we can have true. Okay, we can have true like that. Okay, or we can have we can come down here, we can have is not logged in. Is not logged in. We can have here false like that. Okay, we can have it like that. We can also remember we said that keywords are not case sensitive. We can also have it like this, false. Okay, this is the same. Okay, so we can have we have another data type which is the array. Okay, and this one is the collection of values stored in a single variable. Okay, so we shall look at these ones in the latest part. Okay, in later parts. Okay, so let us just have a basic fundamental knowledge. So here we can have a variable of colors. So we declare arrays using the array keyword like that. Okay, so then inside here it is where we put our values. Okay, so here we can have values of strings. So let us have colors, which is RGB, which is RGB. So we have green, and then here we can have the blue color like that. Okay, we can have the blue color like that. So that's our array. Remember, you should not forget to end these statements. You should not forget to end them, because it will generate errors. Okay, and if we forgot to put them there right now, we can forget in later. Okay, we can forget later, and our code become messy. Okay, with a lot of errors. So another data type we have is the null. Okay, we have the null data type. Okay, and this is a special type that represents a variable with no value. Okay, so we can have a variable with no value, a variable that we have not given any value. So this one is going to be empty. Okay, it is going to be empty, and to make it empty, we give it the null, okay, data type. Okay, we like that. Okay, like that. Okay, so let us look at how to check data types. Okay, in PHP. So sometimes you might want to check what type of data a variable holds. For that, PHP provides the var dump. Okay, var dump. Okay, variable dump function. Okay, so for example, let us use it here. So variable dump. So here, for example, we have our first name here. We have it there. So let us use var dump like this. Then this one, remember, it is a function. Okay, it's a function. You will see function. If you have never heard about functions, I will teach them in later. Okay, later. Okay, but just know this is a function. A function is just a piece of code that gets executed. Okay, that gets executed when it is called. Okay, it is just a piece of code that gets executed when it is called. Okay, so let us call the var dump function, okay, which is built in PHP. Okay, you will see how you can build your own function, how you can create your own function. So here let us provide our first name. So first name there, and if we do save our file and then we come here and we refresh, we get it is a string. As you can see here, it gives us that this data type is a string data type. Then it contains six characters. Okay, 6 characters. Then it gives us, oh no, Copilot, what are you doing? It's okay. And then it gives us our variable. Okay, our data. Okay, so this is what it gives us. Okay, the var dump. Okay, and this one will tell you not only the value but also the data type. Okay, so let us look at what is dynamic typing. Okay, in PHP. So one thing to note here is that PHP is dynamically typed, which means that you can assign a number, okay, to a variable and later change it to text without any error. Okay, so for example here we can have the var dump there, let it remain there. So let us call our first name $first name, then we give it let us give it like 19. Okay, like 1. Okay, if you have like 4. So I've seen a movie which is called number 4. Okay, so this one, so someone has a first name called 4. So let us save, and then we var dump this first name, and we see. So if we do var dump, syntax error, unexpected identifier, var dump in. So this one doesn't work with this one. Okay, it doesn't work. So let us look at the edge. Let us look at the edge. So if we use the edge, as you can see, var dump doesn't work with the numbers. Okay, as you have seen. Okay, okay, it works with numbers, but we forgot this one. Let us put it there. So if we put there, as you can see here, we get the integer. Okay, here we get the integer. So let us go back with our first name. Okay, if we save and then we refresh, we get now it is an integer. Okay, it is an integer, and an integer which is 4. Okay, so our first name has been changed, which means that our PHP is dynamically typed. Okay, so we can assign a value of different data types to the same variable. Okay, so this flexibility is powerful, but you need to be careful to avoid mistakes, guys. Okay, like the mistake I was about to do. Okay, so you should be aware of that. Okay, so that is it for variables and data types in PHP. You learned how to create variables, the rules for naming them, the main data types in PHP, and even how to check the type of a variable. Okay, so thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to